Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Sisters, the Australian version that came out in the UK in 2017, but in America on Netflix on 2018. And yes, I know it's not Women's History Month or nothing like that, but I don't feel like waiting until next year to put out this video, so I'm just doing it now. So, anyways, not to get confused with the American version, or the American show, I should say, called Sisters that came out in the 1990s. This is something completely different. But there is an American remake of this Australian show that came out in 2020. So, Sisters, this was a show that I saw back when I used to have Netflix. Man, it's been a long time since I've had Netflix. I don't do Netflix. We don't get along. Anyway, you can still find this show there. And I started watching this show mainly because of one actress that I recognized in this show. Antonia, sorry about that, my camera died. So, Antonia Preble, I started watching the show because of her, because I remember her from Power Rangers Mystic Force. And so, this is a pretty cool show. It was really dramatic and stuff like that. And it's a shame that it only lasted for only one season, especially because it left off on a huge cliffhanger and stuff. So basically what this show is about is it's about Dr. Julius Birchley, who is played by Barry Otto. Now, as the making of this video, he is still alive, even though he looked half past dead in the show and stuff. But his daughter, I had no idea, is Miranda Otto from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Lord of the Rings. I had no idea that's her daddy. Now, he also has another daughter named Gracie, but I have no idea who she is. She starred in some stuff, but I've never seen the stuff she starred in because, you know, they're Australian. But this is an Australian show. And so Dr. Julius is this famous doctor for helping people infertile simulation, stuff like that, to give people babies who are unable to get babies and, stuff like that. Well, he's a really, really, really old man. And I think he's suffering from dementia or something like that. And he's really, really sick in the show, his character. And so for whatever reason, in the 80s or 90s, probably 80s around the 90s, he decided, hey, I should give some of my swimmers to a bunch of women and everything, as he worked in the hospital clinic. So he put his sperm in tons of random women eggs against their wishes because they had no idea. That is wrong on a million different levels and stuff. And it's something that the American remake got called out for because it was around the Me Too movement and stuff, or it was post Me Too movement. And so, well, what he did was extremely illegal. Some can consider it as an assault. So, news broke out and people are not happy, and for good reason and stuff. And so this show basically revolves around his daughter Julia trying to find out who's all her siblings and stuff like that, and trying to figure out why her dad did it and stuff like that. And yeah, you can understand something like this could be a huge mess. And see, while this is a good show, yes, while this has some good drama, yes, because the problem with the drama in this show is that it deals more in the personal lives of these three sisters instead of dealing with the huge ramifications of what this man did. Now, yes, it does tackle what he did, but it's not the entirety of the show. The entirety of the show is mostly just these women's personal lives. So it kind of misses the mark in that regards, because if you're gonna have something as huge as this, as a man putting like his sperm in 100 eggs, you need to have the show focus primarily on that first, and then the personal lives second. Now, this only ran for 7 episodes. That's not enough time to tell a story like this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they do try to find, like, the other relatives and stuff like that. Now, a major problem is, okay, when he did this, it turns out there's over like 100 like brothers, but there's only like 2 sisters. Weird how he produced a bunch of men, but not a lot of women. And so you would assume that, hey, we'll get to meet like all these different guys and stuff like that. Really? No. Actually, no, it's 3 women, or it might be 3 women. Like I said, it ends on a cliffhanger, so it's kind of hard to tell. Like, there was a twist after a twist that I did not see coming. But anyway, it would have been nice if we would have seen these multiple men in the show confirming that they're the brothers and trying to get to know them. But the show doesn't really do that either. And so it's quite a shame, because it's still dealing with the personal lives of these 3 women and stuff. And so it misses the mark on that too, because, if you're going to say, oh, I implanted all these eggs and got all these sons, where the heck are they? We only see 3 of the sons that are confirmed, but they really don't do much in the show. There's one that only appears twice, and it turns out he slept with his sister and had no idea. And stuff. There's one who's in prison for manslaughter, and we only see him twice, very briefly. And then there's another one who I think his name is Oscar or Sam, one of those 2. Let me see. Yes, Oscar. So he basically just bops in and out the show and doesn't really do much. We really don't even know nothing at all about Oscar. Like, nothing other than he's like gay, and that's it, and just a nice person. Other than that, we don't know nothing about his mom, nothing about his backstory. He mostly is just there as a live-in like caretaker to that of his dad. But we don't never really see him and the dad bond like the dad does with the other girls. So this show misses the mark on a couple of good levels and stuff, because you expect for him to try to get to know his father and stuff like that, but he doesn't. And he doesn't have no ill will towards the man or nothing like that. But it's just kind of like, this show needs more episodes. And it needs less plots in it, because here's the problem with the show when it comes to the individual plots of like the 3 females of the show. There's too many plots that's going on with them. It should have just focused on one primary plot instead of trying to add in others. And since there are multiple plots and 3 different women on 7 episodes that last an hour, that's not a lot to get through, and it's a little too crammed, and it's a little too stuffed. So it should have been condensed a little and stuff. Sad. I wish they would have had multiple seasons, and they could put those plots in like the other seasons. But you just don't cram things all in one season and all in one character. I don't know if that's how European television shows do it, but over here, when we do that over here, it gets messy and things get canceled. And so, like, the characters on this show, they are, like I said before, Dr. Julius. He doesn't have no qualms about what he did, but we don't really truly know why he did what he did and everything. Because every time somebody tries to question him or get mad at him about it, he just pretends like he's having one of his episodes of dementia and stuff. But he seems really thrilled and happy about what he did. He's this really oddly, like, eccentric old man. Like, depending on which version you see, I can't remember which one it is. It's either if it's the Netflix version, I think it's just a title card intro. But if it's the UK version, then I think there's an intro where it's just him dancing, like standing up dancing and everything as the music playing. You going through, like, the character's name, and he's just this eccentric, like, fun, like, older dude and stuff like that. But he did a terrible wrong thing. Now, there is the implication of, people being pissed about what he did and stuff, because there is somebody who wants to sue. The person who wants to sue is his daughter Edie. I'll get into her a little bit later. Now, as for Dr. Julius, he passes away in the 10th episode and stuff. And his daughter Julia, she's taken care of him his entire life. His daughter Julia is played by Maria Angelico. I think that's how you say her name. Man, I love her hair. It's so long and curly. You know how I love long curly hair. Anyway, she is his devoted daughter who has loved him all her life. And she takes care of him. When their mother died, he got sick, and she takes care of him. She really has no time for herself whatsoever other than her job. And she also helps out at the clinic and stuff. And so she doesn't have no time for herself, not even a dating life, because it's been years since she had some and stuff. So that right there is her main, like, plot, you know what I'm saying? She takes care of her ailing father, and she ain't had none in a long time, and she's super horny. To the point where she just gives it up to a dude she sees at a bar. This Asian guy who turns out to be her brother, but she had no idea. And so, like, another thing with her is that she used to be friends with a woman named Edie, but they haven't talked in a long time. And so, like, when this revelation comes out about what her father did, she is heartbroken and devastated. And it's really hard for her to cope because, like, she has so much to do because, he's an old man and he's dying, and she's trying to make ends meet on the job she has. I think she works at like an elementary or a school or something like that. And so it's really hard, and you really feel bad for her. And on top of that, she banged her brother, which she got drunk and announced when she hosted like the whole siblings meeting type of thing. So that, of course, got put on like the internet, and as a result, she lost her job. Also, things just go worse for her when her and Edie do reunite, and, like, Edie wants to sue. Then, like, it turns out that at some point in time in the past, her and Edie's husband used to date and used to do it. But I think it was before he ever met Edie or something like that. And so it's like, out of everybody, she's the most sympathetic character. And she's really the only person trying to locate all these brothers and sisters and stuff. And she has to go to like huge lengths and try to figure out who they are because there are so many of them. As for the one she banged, he is obsessed with her and won't leave her alone. But that's only in the first 2 episodes. And so, like, her father's, like, colleague, she likes him and wants to get with him, but he rejects her. But then those two have it out because, like, because of her sister, she went on an interview and pretty much says she's sorry about what her dad did. You're never supposed to say you're sorry when you're getting sued and everything, because that's an admission of guilt. So because of that, he treats her like crap. She's a strong woman, but it's really hard because she crumbles a lot because of all the weight of what her father has done. And so, in a very, very, very shocking twist. Because, see, during the time before her father passed, her lawyer was telling her, don't talk to none of your brothers and sisters, trying to put all your father's possession in your name and stuff like that, and your inheritance, because you'll have to share it. So, of course, she doesn't listen and stuff like that. But anyway, in a very shocking twist, so she lets a girl named Casey stay with her because Casey claims to be their sister, but she won't take a paternity test. Well, in a shocking twist, Casey, we assume she's conning, like, the family because she won't take the test. So she takes, like, a cotton swab of Julia's mouth and, and pretends like it hers. And then so Casey's all like, well, I'm not your sister because I stole your DNA and I matched it with your dad and blah, 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 and, stuff like that. And then it's like, wait, hold up, hold up, hold up. So in a shocking twist, since her test came out negative, that means Julia, who has known her father her entire life, is not the biological daughter of Julius. He just married her mother and pretended to be her father. He's the stepfather. This was a huge revelation that just shocked me because we spent 7 episodes of her dealing with all this stuff and loving her father, missing her mom, and assuming she banged her brother, which now, thank God, it turned out he's not related to her. And her rekindling with Edie and found out they're sisters and stuff, and then meeting Roxy and stuff. She's not even related to none of them. And it ends on the cliffhanger, and we have no idea what happens after that. And I'm just like, man, you got to be kidding me. So I'll get through Oscar and Casey like really quick. Basically, they have no story arc. They're just there. He's there to take care of the father. Only thing we know about him, he's gay. Casey, we assume, is just living off them because she just needs a place to stay. She's very young and exuberant and a little bit of a rebel and very silly and everything. She doesn't take nothing seriously. Like she'll put on a stocking mask or whatever and scare the crap out of somebody, pretend like she's robbing them. Like she's just silly. But it turns out she might just be the daughter of Julius and stuff. Edie, she's the one who's played by Antona Preble. And so the show kind of mostly focuses on her and her drama a lot. And I mean a lot. And so her big thing is that her and Julia haven't talked in a long time. Because of all this, they reunited and now they thought they were sisters and stuff. And so Edie is furious at Julius and wants to sue him. So she's trying to gather all her brothers and sisters up so they can sue and everything in a huge class action lawsuit and everything, right? And because nobody else is trying to sue this man, because everybody's like, oh, we feel bad because he's old and he's dying. She don't care. She is the tough one of the show, the mean, grumpy one. She's a bit cold-hearted and stuff like that. She's also a lawyer. Her husband is also a lawyer and they work at the same firm. Her and her husband, Tim, are having problems. Why? Because Edie is cheating on him with Amanda, their secretary. And yeah, he has no idea. And so they're constantly just doing it and stuff like that. And one of the reasons why she likes Amanda and not her husband is because her and her husband just can't click sexually. They're going through counseling and stuff. There are certain things he wants her to do, like dress up as a maid or choke him and stuff. And she's not into stuff like that. And she wants to be a little bit more spontaneous, but it just, they're having problems. But for the most part, Tim is a nice guy. And you really feel sad for him and stuff. And so when Julia catches Amanda and Edie in the act, she is devastated and just scared. So she decides to come forward to her husband right before he's about to have a case. He is devastated and shocked. She is scared but relieved and tells Amanda. This causes problems between her and Amanda because he's all like, you had no right to tell him without my consent and blah, blah, blah. And so it's a huge love triangle. Then it's to the point where Edie keeps trying to go to Amanda And it's all like, I really care about you, but I love my husband more because he is my husband. And Amanda's starting to feel a little used and everything. And so Edie doesn't know who she wants and stuff. She's not even sure she's like a lesbian or bi or whatever. Now, one of the reasons for this, that's her main plot of the whole show, right? But then they start adding in other crap that is just unnecessary. So anyway, let's get into her backstory. So her mom, Genevieve, her mom don't get along. Her mom knew about what Julius did because she asked him to do it to her and stuff because she just wanted to have a kid. So Edie is still pissed even though her mom consented to the whole thing. She's pissed because Julius was like a family friend. And she doesn't like the idea that, he violated all these women. And so, like, her and her mom just can't get along on, like, nothing, right? But then, apparently, in the backstory of her mom took her to a nudist colony, and something happened where Edie turned around and she was face to face with sausage. And this kind of, like, traumatized her entire life. And so, like, things will get so bad for Edie, she literally collapsed on the floor when she realized her marriage is about to come to an end. Now, when it comes to her mom, like I said before, they added this backstory of her mom now has like an illness and she's dying from it. And Edie could have it because it's hereditary. And it's just kind of like, that's too much. Like, leave that for a different season. Then her mother turns out to be homeless towards like the second episode. So she lets her mom stay with her, but her mom's so kooky. And it's just kind of like, it's too much. Like, the other stuff with Edie was good. She doesn't need this added on. And so, like, because of like the class action lawsuit, everybody is just furious at Edie for the most part. Like, Tim is mad, Julia is mad, Roxy is just Roxy. But Roxy's parents are involved and they are going through crap because of it. So that pisses Roxy off and stuff. And when it comes to Edie, then they added this whole thing about Tim and Julia used to be together in the past, and then they tried to ruin the Tim's character. Up to this point, he was very sympathetic. But before he found out Edie cheated, he tried to sleep with that of Julia, tried to rekindle what they had a long time ago, but she refused. Then when he went to Julia's place, it's all like Edie slept with a woman. Edie was there and overheard it, and she leaves and tells him to don't sleep with Julia ever again. And so then to get revenge on her, because see, Amanda tried to resign a long time ago, but they convinced her to stay. Edie did. But then it's like, him and her, Amanda can't get along. And so it's to the point where Amanda quits. But then he decides to get revenge and cheat on Edie with a prostitute of all things. And it's just kind of like, why ruin his character? He was sympathetic and everything. Now it just makes him look sleazy. And of course, Edie is a hypocrite because she's pissed that he cheated on her with a prostitute. But of course, she's been banging Amanda the whole time. And for the most part, her and Julia just can't get like along and stuff. It was even to the point where she accused Julia trying to get with like, Tim, to the point where Julia's all like, you're a lesbian or something like that and been cheating on your husband, tells it in front of everybody. And Edie just slaps the taste out of her mouth. Roxy is the other sister the show revolves around, and Roxy is a handful. So much they kept trying to add so many layers to her that nothing ever gets resolved in her character arc. See, Roxy is in the entertainment business. She's 30 years old. She's been in the entertainment business for a long time. She does kind of like one of those PBS kids type shows, kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood type thing. in Sesame Street. So it's like she's getting older, and of course, when you hit 30 and 40 in Hollywood, you're pretty much over if you're a woman. And so it turns out that like she also does drugs. She's a pill popper and everything because she can't take anxiety. She can't take pressure. She can't take it when like you get on to her about anything. So she has that manicness to her. And so because of that, she gets fired and she just pretty much collapses like, mentally, you know. Then it turns out she's related to Julius. So after finding that out, she treats her, well, I guess you would say adoptive father now because, you know, that's her real mom. But her mom's husband, she starts to treat him like crap and everything. See, she doesn't like it when her family tries to tell her what to do and handle her life. But she's like 30 years old, she lives with them, and she just can't get her crap straight because she's popping pills and stuff. So she moves out and she lives with either Julius or Julia, one of those two. And for the most part, she is the really nice one of the group who tries to get along with all her siblings and tries to get them to stop fighting and stuff. Then it turns out that like she finds out Julius has a bunch of like medication and she just starts stealing it. And it's to the point where she's so like, you know, she gets caught by Oscar. But then that's when Casey's all like, oh no, I'm the one who stole it. So her pill popping thing never gets resolved. And it's to the point where she would even blackmail somebody at her old job trying to get her job back. And she talking about like she told like the producer dude, the director, I'll tell everybody what you done with like, you know, that can get you like canceled and stuff like that. I guess he did something with underage people. So they never even resolved that. But she's willing to blackmail this dude, but not send him to jail. Well, it doesn't work and she still ends up getting fired. All she ever wants to do is be on TV and it's just not working out for her. Then they decided to add more layers to her by saying she's a 30-year-old virgin and she just wants to give it up. She wanted to give it up to E's colleague at like the law firm and everything. I think his name is Carl or something like that. And he would not do her, but instead he does Julia. And so, of course, when Edie found out about that, she got pissed and stuff. But it really hurt her to be rejected by Carl and stuff. She did, like just like talking to him for one time, she wanted to like bang him and stuff. And because she feels ashamed being a 30-year-old virgin. What did that have to do with her character? Why they have to add that? But that colleague of Julia's, he ends up dating her and banging her, so she's happy about that. But then they added another layer to the situation because she treats her adoptive father like crap. All he wants is just to be in her life. But then her mom made a revelation that kind of ruined that story arc for me. Basically, her mom revealed that when she was 15, she had a kid and had to give the kid up. So years later, she decided to make Roxy, but she made Roxy no, she asked Dr. Julius to give, you know, his sperm to her and stuff. So it's not like, so it's just like with Edie's mom. She consented to the whole thing. That robs Edie and her mom's storyline of consenting when it seems like, you know, her mom didn't know and was violated and stuff. And I don't know why they tried to match those two storylines together because, like I said, it robs it from Edie and Genevieve and stuff. So, of course, now that rocks their family dynamic and everything. The mom feels ashamed because she lied the whole time, pretending like she didn't know. And so now they can't go forward with the lawsuit and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just one of those things that's like, you have to save things for other seasons. But they didn't. And Roxy is played by Lucy Durack. So for the most part, like I said, it was a cool show. Now they did make an American remake. The American remake went through two different titles. They couldn't call it Sisters because people would have assumed it was the 90s show. But the title they settled with was Almost Family. It aired on Fox. for one season. And it starred Emily Osment, who was in Hannah Montana as Lily. And that one show on Freeform, I forgot what it's called, where she's like a chef. Something Young something. Young and Hungry, that's it. Young and Hungry, where she had her own show. And so during the making of this show, when people found out what it was about, because it was more of a drama. See, the Australian one is a drama comedy. The American one is just a straightforward drama. And people felt, you know what? After the Me Too movement, why in the world would you make this show? So it was riddled in controversy by a man putting his sperm in other women. And this stuff, their father wasn't as old as the one in the Australian version. So, needless to say, it got canceled after just one season. Now, I've never seen the American remake. I don't know if it's any good. I can't tell you. I think it's on Hulu still, maybe, or something like that. But yeah. So if you want to watch the Australian one, it is on Netflix. And, you know, it's worth a watch because the drama stuff is really good. I just wish they would have resolved a whole lot of their plot points because they never resolved a lot of stuff within, like, you know, the show. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.